Okay, we're live now.
All right, I'd like to call to order this special meeting of the Board of Finance for 4/28/21. I'd like to open it with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, any public comment for the meeting? Hearing none, let's move right into the meeting. We called this meeting tonight. It's sort of a special meeting. We vowed to get the numbers right down to the end after last year, and we've had some adjustments come in up and down that we've discussed at our prior meeting that we feel should be part of the budget. It's really not any takeaways or additions. It's just getting the numbers correct after finding out more information. And Steve, you can correct me if I'm wrong in this. It was just a gathering of more information that allowed us to refine the numbers better to present the budget to the town to vote. We didn't really change any numbers. We didn't take away any programs. We did not reduce anything. These are numbers brought to us by the Board of Ed where they had savings, and numbers brought to us from the EMS side where they had expenditures that we needed to address in the current upcoming fiscal year.
Yep.
Also, we had savings on the town side of insurance, as well as, not as much as the education, but proportionately the same amount based on a percentage of staff members. And we also had to introduce IT security
Correct.
into this budget.
Right.
So overall, the budget went from a 1.52 mill rate, proposed mill rate increase down to a 1.49 with all of these adjustments, which we discussed at the last meeting.
Right.
In the meantime, we did have some correspondence from town member and about capital, and I wanted to explain about capital, and then Steve, I'll give you the floor to explain about capital. Is we have been looking to reduce bonding for maintenance, bonding for small items, bonding for the roads. We've had a plan in place, both the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance, to keep raising the number for bonding limits. I think we're almost up to 50,000 now. Anything under 50,000, we try to use the operating cash expense.
Yep.
And the roads, we're now into over $1 million.
Yeah, 1,350,000, I think.
Right.
Okay.
Instead of bonding the whole amount, we've been reducing it on an annual basis.
Right.
Glenn, I'm sorry. Could somebody forward me the letter from a member of the public? I don't seem to have that.
Went to the whole Board of Finance. Yeah, we can send it.
No, it was only sent to.
No,
only
Mark,
sent
you and I got left off.
to their private emails.
Oh,
I thought it went to the whole Board of
No,
Finance.
only
It went to everybody but Mark and I.
Yeah, for some
If
reason.
you could share that with us as members of the Board of Finance, I would appreciate it.
I apologize. You have
Thank
my
you.
humble
I'll shoot
apologies
it to you
on
right
that.
now.
Thank you, Steve.
I just wanted to address that as we're going into this vote, that we have been reducing bonding as much as possible for maintenance and smaller items.
And we've been moving some items into the actual operating budget when it's a capital expense that occurs every single year.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. So I think that pretty much would address, I'll address the other questions, or Steve, you can address them with the actual numbers if you feel more comfortable.
Yeah, I can address those directly. Our overall goal is to get to virtually, except for huge purchases, a new turf field for $500,000, $600,000, to pay cash for everything.
Yes.
That's not a huge expense.
Yes.
I think we all agree on that, right?
Yeah, I think we're as close to agreement, if not agreed. Totally. Yes. How's
Right,
that?
right.
Totally.
We agree in principle.
Totally. Yeah, I agreed.
Yeah.
All right. So we called this meeting because we needed to approve these numbers prior to the town meeting, correct, Steve? I mean, that's what we have to
Yes.
do.
We
Uh,
will, the board has to submit your final budget to the town clerk tomorrow, so we can get it in the paper for the town meeting next Tuesday.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so, I mean, we've all seen the numbers.
I'm looking at the
Dan,
numbers. Sorry to interrupt, but
Bring the budget up?
the numbers that Steve sent this morning are not the same as the numbers you just said, Glenn. The numbers, the number in the budget that you sent today is actual up from the 1.52 to 1.60.
Correct.
So it's not down to the 1.49 that you said, Glenn, and that's what I thought as well. So
No,
why are we taking 17,000 out of the net change out of the budget and the mill rate went up?
the last iteration of the budget, right, where we made changes, went from 152 to 149.
Right.
This iteration of the budget includes the health insurance cuts, the EMS up, the cybersecurity, and the cut in the ECS.
So you said that, so that's a net 17 down is what you emailed. So that's 17,000 down from the 1.49
Yeah.
before. So how could the mill rate go up 11?
No, you didn't, that was in the last iteration. Then we have the ECS cut of $70,000. I can bring the budget up if you like to look at it.
Yeah, I wanna, because
that's not what we got. I just printed what we got the other day.
you sent something this morning that's 1.6.
Yeah, it's 1.6. It's 1.6. With the changes that we discussed at the Board of Finance meeting, it's 1.6.
Oh, there we go.
Why do I have an Excel summary sheet that has us at 149? And during our whole meeting last week,
Yeah.
we talked about it going down to 149. What changed since last Wednesday?
I just named them.
ECS.
EMS went up 90,000.
Yeah, we knew that that was in this last budget.
Health insurance went down 101 on the school side,
That was in the one last week. We talked
Right.
about it.
right? Let's just go through it. The cybersecurity is 32,000 total.
Yeah.
And the ECS grant, we got that updated after your meeting,
We lost
talked about-
70,000 on that.
right? The ECS grant was cut.
An email was sent. I remember seeing that.
I was looking at the wrong, yep, I'm sorry. Yep, so that was sent today, or Tuesday. I'm sorry, I was off. So that was sent Tuesday.
Right.
Um,
So we're up from 1.52 to 1.6.
right.
And the only difference from our last meeting to today is the 70,000 ECS revenue drop.
Right.
And that came to us from the state this week or whatever,
Correct.
after
Correct.
our meeting. Could have been last Thursday,
Correct.
Friday.
Correct.
So is there anywhere we can take 70 grand out of? I feel a little shady raising the budget after we've presented it to the town. Is there anything anybody's comfortable with on any line, like a contingency or anything?
I mean, the increase, no one likes to see an increase, but this increase is less than 1/10 of 1%. It's 0.8 of 1%.
I did that math, thank you.
No, it's 0.8 of 1%. I'm sorry.
I'll be honest with you, I'm sort of struggling with it myself, if you want to know the truth. I was good with the 152 down to the 149. Point of this.
If we were to take, I think it's something like 50, whatever the difference between the 14,000 and the 70,000. So it'd be 56,000 out of contingency. That would bring it back down to 1.52.
Right.
There you
would.
go.
So you're saying take it out of contingency, Ricky?
I'm open to it. Yeah. I mean, it's a loss of revenue that you know, good thing we know now, because if we didn't, we'd have to cover it with contingency anyway.
Right.
Yeah, very true.
And then at least we get back to the 1.52.
Yeah,
And
I'm
then,
reading
like-
it as 53 grand we'd have to, but I could be off.
And then Mark, then at least we're staying the same with what we presented
Right.
to the public.
What
Yeah,
are
the
the
original
big
budget.
risks? What are the big risks that we thought I mean, we know that we're trying to build the general fund, but what were the big risks that we wanted to cover with the contingency? I mean, our numbers seem more known this year than last year. I mean, if we're not expecting any big risk anywhere, then I'm okay with contingency balancing that.
Yeah, so Ricky's right. If you took 53,000, I just took, let me try this, share screen. If we remove 53,000 from the,
Yep.
must be share screen,
Yeah, I have it up.
exactly 1.52.
Yeah, I have it up as well. I can confirm that.
I mean, we take a little bit of risk doing that, but I agree with you guys that the concern is now with a budget to the town of 152, which is what everybody's been talking about for the last 4 or 5 weeks,
Right.
and now it's going up. It almost seems like we're not trying to do it, but a little bait and switch, you know, we give you this. And then, so
Exactly. The appearance.
I'd be comfortable with cutting the contingency. We'll just have
And
to
I-
make,
And I like where Eileen's going with it. I do feel like a lot of our costs, we have less unknowns, I feel like, going into this year than we did last year.
that's true.
I agree with that, but I also think what we've done, and I think we've done it properly, is we've squeezed everybody down. There may not be a big contingency, but there may be a lot of little ones. We really tightened the Board of Ed down, or we didn't tighten them down. They worked with us to get us numbers. I'm using the wrong terms, but
Yeah.
they took their numbers and squeezed them in to be very tight. So there may be 10,000 here, 20,000 there that they're gonna need because of the way we built the budget. We built it very streamlined.
Yes.
So what's in the OPEB? 150?
Yeah, I think, let me pull it up. Sorry.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, 150.
So if we took it out of that OPEB and kept the contingency, if we had extra money in the contingency at the end of the year, could you refund OPEB?
Sure. Sure. We could.
We took from OPEB, that's the one thing that we did take from during COVID. We
Yep.
squeezed that down a little bit, and we're taking, I don't know, how comfortable are we? I don't have those numbers in front of me. How comfortable are we on OPEB?
You know, the OPEB, again, it's a pay as we go. So all the expenses that we have are OPEB. We're meeting those every single year. And our OPEB obligation, as you bring it out, you do it just like a pension. You go out the 30 or 40 years that people might be using OPEB or be benefiting from it. It's gone from $20 million 3 years ago to an $11 million obligation last year. So that's going to continue to go down because no new employees are eligible for it. So it's a program that's going to be winding down. It was primarily, and most towns in Connecticut just pay as you go. In order to satisfy some of the questions from the rating agencies and the state, we decided to start funding that OPEB. And we never planned to fund it fully 100% of the, what is it, ACR, the contribution rate, because we know it's going down every year. So we could cut the OPEB. I don't think it would make a huge difference. And then if there's money left at the end of the year and we don't use a contingency, we could always transfer that 53,000 from contingency to the OPEB and meet the $150,000 number. Does that make sense?
It does. I just want to, I'm not against it either. I'm glad John Lucas just joined. I'm glad because I think that one of the factors, not a major factor, but one of the factors in our bond rating and other external constituents is a really stellar OPEB funding situation.
Yeah.
I'd hate to
Actually, you make a good point, Dan. I would prefer to take the 53,000 out of the contingency.
have one too.
That's where I would prefer to take it. Because we are going to go out and borrow again this summer, and we didn't fund it last year. So, and they'll understand that because it was COVID and pandemic. I think the optics on it look better if we take it out of contingency.
Yeah, Glenn, I recognize it's kind of like doing your roof. You spend money and you don't get anything out of it, but I think that it's important to keep discipline there.
Oh, my goal was to fund it, that we'd have money at the end of the year.
Yeah.
That was my goal. I was looking for flexibility of money,
Yep, I get it. No, I know.
Okay.
They're both valid.
right? The goal, it was to fund it, that we're gonna have this money. And my goal was to give us more flexibility. The more flexibility to me lied in the contingency, but I mean,
Right, and if we didn't, if you had to not fund something, it would have been OPEB from what we have left. I get where you're going, Glenn.
Yep.
I understand though the other side of it too.
I just wanted to bring up what not funding OPEB means, as opposed to, so I'm kind of open either way. I
Well,
would,
to be clear, we're still funding OPEB, just not as much as we were going to. Discussion.
yep, I agree.
Now, when do we pay the OPEB bill?
We can pay it anytime during the year. We usually pay it, I think, in July. We just shoot it over
Pay
there.
at the beginning of the year, or you pay it at the end of the fiscal year?
Beginning of the fiscal year, but we can do it anytime during the fiscal year that we choose.
Could we make two payments?
Yes,
One
we-
now that's the known, and then if there's money left over, we could fully fund it by the end of the year?
Yep,
Okay.
yes, we could. I think though, talking to rating agencies, I would rather go to them when we do this summer and say, hey, we had to cut the OPEB last year. It was 200,000. We're restoring it this year to 150. I think that says a much better story. We're
Alright.
restoring it to $97,000. That number seems a little suspect to me.
All right,
John, what do
I
you think?
mean, I'm okay with that. I was
John,
just
John,
looking.
what you're on the call. What do you think, John?
No, I agree. The optics of, adjusting your requirement, that you've agreed upon year after year to fund the OPEB program. It could cost you something down the line. Who knows? So if you're thinking of changing the amount that you're going to fund, then just think it through.
No, I'm okay. I think we've had the discussion.
Yeah,
From my
and I
point of view-
apologize for jumping on late, so I don't know where you are in the discussion, but for whatever reason, it's just on a list of check boxes, and funding OPEB is always one that they
Ask about.
look at, that they scrutinize. So, it's certainly just something, if that's an area you're looking to, just be aware of, the optics for whatever it is.
Yeah, Glenn, and there could be an entirely new makeup of the board by the end of the year, and who knows what their priorities might be. So if we have an intent of doing something, maybe we should just leave OPEB alone.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, so then that's where it's, let's circle back. Are we all in agreement of keeping it at the 152 that we agreed on the beginning?
Yes.
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 Eileen, I didn't hear you.
I don't mind if we move the needle up a little bit, but if we can find a way to keep it under the 1.6, that's fine too.
Okay, Ricky?
Yeah, I'm good with the 1.52.
I think the majority, Eileen, sit on the 152.
Yep.
Okay, so let's, I think we can all agree to that. We'll take it out of the contingency as Steve has talked about, and Dan as well. We'll do a motion here in a minute. I don't think there's anything else then that needs to be discussed. Is there, do you think?
No.
No.
Okay. So Steve, do we have to make a motion to move 53,000 from contingency?
No, you just have to make a motion to adopt this new budget.
The new budget's the exact same as the old budget. All I gotta do is change around some numbers, right?
I'm sorry, let me clarify. You would adopt the budget as it's currently constituted and sent to you, right? With taking $53,000 out of contingency.
But the motion doesn't say anything specifically about contingency because that's part of
It just says
operating.
amounts. You can just do the amounts.
So if the amount hasn't changed because we're making up for it, then if our numbers
Yeah.
haven't ultimately
No,
changed.
the amount has changed.
Oh, it
Eileen.
had, okay.
The amount has
Yeah,
changed.
sorry, yeah.
Here's what I have written down, okay? So, Steve, I'm gonna read it and you see if the numbers go to what you think, right?
Okay,
We are going to make a motion to approve the total budget of 74,901,176. Comprised of 19,988,508 for town, 46,736,18 for school, 5,826,802 for debt, 2,355,248 for capital. That represents an increase of 1.49 or an increase of 1.52 on the mill. It
No,
brings us up to,
no, that doesn't work.
The town operations number is off. So I
Yeah.
have the budget up with the 53 out. So
Thank you, Dan.
let me read it to you and somebody can confirm. Total expenditures of 74,848,176.
no, that doesn't sound right to me.
That is right.
Government operations is,
19,935,508.
wait, that's not right either.
I took 53,000
No,
out.
because
Nine-
Dan, we're adding it in, but we're taking it back out. So
Yeah,
I think
it's
the number
like-
stays the same.
No, government operations is 19,968,314. Taking 53,000 out of contingency. So contingency would be 304,616. That drops government operating into 19,968 from 19,988,616. Sorry, 314.
19,968 from 19,988 isn't $53,000.
Why did it do, I just, hold on. Contingency combined. Let me take the 53,000 out.
You on U570 on the expense page?
But that's when I took 53,000 out. Oh, sorry, there's a formula in there I missed. I don't have my glasses on.
19,935,508.
yes,
That's what I have.
that's what I have.
That would make sense.
I went actually into expenses and deducted 53,000 from the contingency. And can you see the screen?
Oh,
Can you see my screen?
Hold
And it's
on,
right-
let's look at what you
I
got
subtracted
here.
35,000.
Oh, okay.
What do you have here now? So you have the total expenditure still at 74,901,176,
He hasn't
right?
changed it.
Yep, now you have to go back and now go in and change the expense line, Steve.
You mean on the,
Go into the expenses tab.
yeah. In contingency, I did that.
What's on the screen here? That's not what we see.
Oh, I don't you see that?
It didn't work.
I lowered it $53,000. I don't know why. I moved over to the expense tab. I don't know why you can't see it.
You're frozen.
That's really weird. But if you take,
Stop sharing and reshare, see if
Yeah,
it
good idea.
comes up right.
let me see, stop sharing. Let me try new share. Do you see it now?
There's the expense tab. Yep. Now go back to the summary tab.
Okay. Now can you see the summary tab?
There you go. Now the
The
summary.
number
Now it's right.
changed.
No, it was still 19,935,508.
It was not to us.
Wasn't before when you showed it
Oh,
before.
not to you, okay, okay,
So I confirm those are the same numbers I'm showing on my screen.
okay. You're doing the same thing, Dan?
Yes.
Okay.
Eileen, are you doing the same thing?
Yeah.
And you get that?
Mhm.
Okay, that's 3.
And that's the only thing that's changing.
Correct.
Yep.
Well, hold on, yeah, so hold
But the
on.
total budget changes too.
Yes.
No, it doesn't. Ah,
Yeah,
Sorry.
Does it changes by the same 53,000?
yeah.
Because we,
So Eileen, can you write all this down?
yeah. So this should be. Okay, so the school number stays the same.
This-
Let me just, yes, from
No.
what Glenn had, from what the revised was, not from.
Right. This budget I'm showing includes all of the changes that we discussed, plus the 53,000 for the
Yeah.
contingency.
Correct.
All right, so I'm gonna go back to, because I have a little script written here. What is the total budget we're looking to approve tonight?
74,848,176 in total expenditures.
Correct.
The town side is
19,935,508.
35,508. The school operation,
Is 46,730,618.
the debt didn't change, it's 5,826,802.
Yes,
Yes,
The capital projects is 2,355,248.
correct.
We have a mill increase of 1.52.
Yep.
And that brought us up from 29.65 to 30.09.
I got 30.10 on this.
30.10.
Yep, all
Rounding.
right,
Rounding.
all right. Those numbers make sense, yes.
I agree.
So now we need to make the motion to pass those numbers like we did on the original motion, right, Steve?
Yes.
So can you scroll back up to the top, Steve, and then you'll scroll down to the bottom for a total?
Yep.
Glenn, you have anybody, you want to have Dan or Ricky do it?
I got it. I'll make a motion to approve and to recommend approval to a town meeting and referendum, a total budget of $74,848,176 for the fiscal year of 2021/22, comprised of $19,935,508 for town operations, $46,730,618 for school operations, $5,826,802 for debt service, and $2,355,248 for capital projects as outlined and described in the budget being submitted to the town clerk. This budget represents an increase of 1.52% in the mill rate over prior fiscal year and brings the mill rate from 29.65 for fiscal year 2021 to 30.10 for fiscal year 21/22. Do I have a second?
I will second.
Do we have any discussion? No discussion? All right, hearing none. I will say one thing before we make the vote is, I think this is a fair budget to put to the town for a vote. Obviously, this is a different year than COVID. We get to go out and vote, and we hope the voters get out and vote, and we feel this budget meets the needs of the town. All boards have put in their input, the Board of Selectmen, including the Board of Ed, and I don't think anything was really excluded from this budget. So Steve, you want to add to that before we make a vote?
No, I just want to thank everybody, including the Board of Ed and the Board of Selectmen. Everybody worked really cooperatively together. And I think by doing that and the extra work that the Board of Ed did in answering those 19 pages of questions was incredibly helpful. I think they did an incredible job on this. And I urge everyone to support this budget.
Anyone else want to make a comment before we vote? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Hearing none, vote passes unanimously. Do we have any public comment?
I see none.
Hearing none. Mark, you want to make your motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Thanks, everybody, for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.